This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code Detroit to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and sitting right across from me in costume as our boy Matt Patricia is our boy Andrew. He's going to give us this week's offense.
Well, my Lions got a much-needed W this week against the...
They did.
I wish I could do a Matt Patricia impression, but I can't. But it's only G-Men.
Against the G!
But secondary looked bad, but we got some rumors, and we got some rumors of Slay moving out. Running game looked bad, but we got some rumors of Melvin Gordon coming in. So we're gonna look at all that, and we're gonna preview the Raiders game next week. So
and possibly, and if time permits, maybe talk a little bit of Pistons, but we'll see. We'll see.
Derrick Rose get an MVP chance.
Okay,
he was.
I know he was. I know he was getting the MVP chance.
He's looked pretty damn good.
Oh, he's looked amazing. But what do we have? Like 20 more games of this? I mean, I almost want to tell him slow down.
Save some for later.
Save some of this. But no, it was the weekend before Halloween. Mm-hmm. And so obviously a lot of the parties were happening. I went to one. Mm-hmm. You had a wedding, so. Mm-hmm. I guess you can call it a Halloween party. You dressed up.
In a suit. I won as Formal Andrew. That's what I won as.
There you go. Formal Andrew.
Andrew if he was in the Italian mob.
I was Maverick. So, fun fact, it was 90s night at the bar I went to. Everybody was supposed to be 90s Halloween costumes.
I could have gone Space Jam Bugs Bunny.
You could have. I did not know it was 90s night. So, I showed up in a costume from 1986. It's Maverick. It's Top Gun. Movie came out in 86.
No, I know.
So I felt totally awkward. It was funny though. There were some pretty good costumes. There was a bunch of people. There was a group of people that was Run DMC. Mm-hmm. Group I was with were the Spice Girls, and it was fun.
You know what you could have done? You could have pulled it off and said you were. You could have said you were Captain Steve Hiller from Independence Day.
It said Maverick on it.
You could just put tape over it and say Hiller. Only problem is that role was played by Will Smith. Just don't go blackface and you'll be good, though, I think.
I mean, really.
I don't know the rules.
That's definitely a rule, Andrew. It's 2019. That's definitely a rule.
No, I said don't go blackface.
I know.
I said I think you'd be good if you don't go blackface. As in, you could still be a white dude wearing a Steve Hiller costume. Just don't go blackface.
I mean, the people that were Run DMC were white.
No, there you go. Perfect.
Can we even talk about this?
Yeah. We're not promoting people going, we're talking, saying don't do blackface.
True. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump.
Blackface, you hear about the pumpkins?
The what?
Bed Bath & Beyond had to remove pumpkins because they got in trouble because they were black jack-o'-lanterns. And so they got in trouble for blackface because the jack-o'-lanterns were black.
So the Lions this weekend. The Lions this weekend got a W, as Andrew mentioned.
Yes.
The offense in terms of the passing game looked absolutely wonderful, and the run defense showed up against one of the best running backs in the NFL, if not the best running back in the NFL, holding Saquon Barkley to only 3.5 yards per carry, and didn't give up a big play to him on the ground either. His longest run was 13 yards. So, and that's largely with Snacks getting hurt in this game, playing hobbled to begin with because of that groin injury.
Yeah.
Which he re-injured in this game as well. So,
no, it makes no sense to me. But
I mean, they finally showed up. They finally were what we expected them to be at the beginning of the year. I think it was a little bit.
One play where Will Harris was made to look like a baby by Saquon Barkley.
yeah. Besides that one, but
I was laughing so hard.
it was a little bit of stack in the box. I mean, the Lions obviously did not really respect the receiving core of the Giants or Daniel Jones's arm, which came back to bite them, but they were able to put pressure on, fill the gaps where needed and stop Saquon from getting anything big. And it worked. It obviously worked because it became with a W. However, the pass defense was terrible. They allowed Saquon Barkley to grab 79 yards and a touchdown on 6 catches. Golden Tate had himself a good game in his homecoming. And Daniel Jones looked like a Pro Bowler out there. He was damn good.
Yeah.
Damn good.
The depleted secondary is not looking too hot.
No, it's not. Obviously, that was without Slay. Granted,
any updates on the Tracy Walker situation? That was a bad.
No, didn't they lose both Tracy Walker and Tavon Wilson this weekend also?
Yes.
So I mean, their secondary was playing with essentially you out there.
Will Harris looked unprepared. He got made a fool out of a couple times. Just that I saw.
Yeah. So the pass defense has to kind of step it up in the weeks coming. But one thing I will say, and this is something that we talked about going into this game, was you have a rookie quarterback in a less than stellar offensive line. On defense, you need to blitz, and you need to get in his face and put some pressure on him. And from what I saw and was noticing, they blitzed. We had a lot more blitz packages thrown out there to try to put some pressure on Daniel Jones. We got to him a few times. I would have liked to see a few more sacks in that game, but we got to him, and we put pressure on him, and he didn't really make too many mistakes, but at times we forced some bad throws, and that's exactly what you needed to do against a rookie quarterback, and I was very pleased.
It worked in containing Saquon a little bit, too.
It did. It absolutely did. A lot of the blitz packages were run blitz packages as well, and they use guys, extra guys in the box to make up for that as well. But, I was pleased to see them be willing to blitz, because that's not something that we had seen the rest of the season so far, and to see it in a game like this where it was obviously necessary, considering the fact that you have an elite running back and a rookie quarterback, you got to blitz in those situations, and you got to make them pay. So I was happy to see that. But I'll be 100% honest with you, Matthew Stafford's a damn good quarterback. I'll say it, damn good quarterback.
I agree.
And any of the Lions' woes this year are not at his fault. He's been absolutely stellar this entire year. And obviously he's had a bad stretch here and there, but for the most part, he's been on fire. Breaking news?
Yes, this is.
Did we do that on the podcast?
This is about 10. Well, as of recording, this is about 10 minutes ago. From Benjamin Raven of M Live, it sounds like Tracy Walker has avoided major knee injury, so he is currently day to day. He just got a scan done today.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah. I felt that was important to share on the podcast.
No, I would tend to agree. I just didn't know we do breaking news, especially the sounds on the sound on the podcast. We do that on the live show. We have all sorts of drops with the live show.
We'll taste of the live show.
But in the NFL, I am a believer. In certain there are certain leagues where a win is not just a win. College football, a win is not just a win. You can move back in the rankings by only just barely beating a bad football team. So a win is not just a win, because playoff and because bowl, what bowl you go to and whether or not you make the playoffs is in college football is subjective. It's what a committee believes. It's a judgment call, not so much hey, you have a better record than somebody, you go in. But in the NFL, a win is just a win. A win is a win is a win, because there's only 16 of these games. You need to have the best record to make the playoffs, or one of the best records to make the playoffs.
It affects your confidence for future games in terms of
it does,
you, the fan,
but that's about it.
Yeah.
That's all that in all reality, that means nothing.
Yeah.
Because this is the NFL, and anybody can win on any given Sunday unless you're the Miami Dolphins. Man, do they suck. And for that reason, I'm going to take out of this game certain things that I'm going to be positive about. And one of those things that is clear to me is Matthew Stafford and the willingness of us on our part to adjust and to blitz and to be willing to fill the box and trust their secondary on an island. Did the secondary come through? Not so much. But the run D did, and we got enough pressure to make things happen in the pass rush as well. Man, was it nice to see Trey Flowers get a sack also.
Oh, yeah. I want them to shelf that flea flicker streak route for a bigger game.
That was one of the coolest flea flicker plays I have ever seen. Because the normal
They did the Green Bay twice.
Well, it was different in the Green Bay one. This was not your normal flea flicker.
This was the same one.
The normal
Deep route to Ken Galladay, flea flicker.
The normal flea flicker.
It was just reversed.
The normal flea flicker is you hand it off, running back runs up the middle, passes it back. This one was a toss to the outside and a pass back to Matthew Stafford for a deep ball. That was cool. It was sweet. And you don't see it like that often. It was a toss play running to the outside to McKissick. He throws it back overhanded across the hash marks to Stafford, who literally had to run behind him because I think McKissick ran a little bit too far backwards. But Stafford grabs it, launches a deep ball on Kenny Galladay, who easily beat his man out there. Which, anybody else a little bit scared he was about to drop that ball? Because the ball looked like it caught him. Because he caught it on his chest.
Beautiful pass.
Oh, it's a beautiful pass, but the ball hit him in the chest first. And I was like, oh, my God. But it was a sweet play. And I hope they file that one away for a later date because I'd love to see it again. Like I said, a lot of positives to look at from this game. The run game was not one. Obviously, you're depleted there. Ty Johnson clearly may not be the answer at this point. I didn't even know who Trey Carson was coming into this game, but he led the team in carries, was not effective. Paul Perkins, who we just recently activated, had 3 carries for 4 yards.
Him to be effective.
The one thing I was surprised was J.D. McKissick only getting 1 carry. I would have expected to see a lot more of him being utilized in the running game, and I would like to see him utilized more.
I was actually expecting to see more of him in the past, and even that we didn't see more of.
No, we really didn't any of that. He only caught. I mean, he did catch 3 balls, but only for 2 yards. He didn't really get an opportunity to break one here. He only had the 3 targets as well, so wasn't really utilized all that much. It was largely the Kenny Galladay, Danny Amendola day in the passing game. Marvin Jones had 5 targets of his own, but those 2 guys each had 8. So it looked like the Lions were willing to spread the ball around quite a bit.
Yeah. I really want to see Hawk get more than 1 target.
I do too, but again, he's got to get open. And that's the thing that's a theme that
Hawk's supposed to be a guy that even if he's not open, he's open kind of thing.
He's not though. He's not though, and he hasn't. In all honesty, in the past game, he hasn't shown the best hands either.
He hasn't improved the ability to come down with those kind of things. But I'm just saying, just due to his size, I would hope he could become a guy that even if he's
we said the same thing about Eric Ebron.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that he is that now. I'm just saying I hope he can become that.
I do too, and I expect him to become that because I think he's got a ton of potential. As of right now, what I've seen from T.J. Hawkinson is an ability to make a play every now and then, and a very strong ability to block. I would like to see the playmaking ability happen, progress quite a bit more as we go through the season and into next year. But I really didn't have huge expectations for T.J. Hawkinson coming into the year to begin with, at least not in the passing game. In the blocking game, I hoped he was going to be able to translate that, but
which he has,
absolutely. But that's one thing that I have been a little bit disappointed on with T.J. Hawkinson is he's just not shown an ability to get open enough. And don't give me the Arizona game because everybody gets open as a tight end against Arizona.
Again, neither of us were expecting a top 5 tight end season in rookie year, but I think we were both expecting more than what he's done.
Right. So one guy though that I feel like every game now in the last, we'll call it 4 or 5 games. There's just one play where dude just manages to make an insane catch, and that's the only catch of the game. And it's Marvin Hall. What the hell, man? Where's this dude coming from, and why are we hitting him more? Honestly, in the plays he's gotten the ball, he's been insanely good.
He's a little sneak attack receiver.
Seriously.
We just throw him out inconspicuously and just let him run.
I mean, where's this guy come from? I'd love to see him more because the guy literally just finds a way to make an insane catch on a deep ball. He's done it 4 or 5 straight games now.
So, a question: is Justin Coleman the best player on our defense right now? Because he had another really nice game again.
It's either him or Jared Davis. Justin Coleman had a tough game against the Vikings. He was beat up quite a bit. But Jared Davis has impressed the hell out of me this season.
Except for the one player, Jared Davis got trucked by Saquon.
Except for that one, yes. But Jared Davis, for the most part, has impressed the hell out of me this season. As a leader and a playmaker on defense as a whole. Yeah. He seems to just be around the ball a lot. And he's impressed the hell out of me for that reason. But Justin Coleman has had a very, very good season so far outside of the Minnesota game where he was beat up quite a bit.
Yeah.
He had a really tough day. But I'd say those two guys right now are probably the top two guys on our defense. I hope to see Trey Flowers step up. I hope to see Romeo Okwara, Devon Kennard step up. I want to see the pass rush come alive because that's where a lot of our assets have gone, and we need those guys to be effective.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them, kind of put their names into the hat for defensive MVP for the Lions this year. But right now, I think it's a two-man race between those two.
Now, one thing I just realized that we haven't given our thoughts on because it happened in between. It happened after our last recording. Was the Quandre Diggs trade?
Right.
We saw how it affected our secondary this week.
We did. And specifically the safety core because we lost a couple guys to injuries and we're absolutely depleted there. I mean, Miles Killebrew, who is, in all honesty, a linebacker safety hybrid, not a true safety.
Yeah, I mean,
he was coming in spot
in college.
duty.
His position was safety. I think we converted him to linebacker.
They converted him into like a utility piece that plays a little bit of both, kind of like Troy Polamalu did.
He spent most of his time in special teams either way. So.
Right. Not comparing him to Polamalu, but he plays kind of a similar gadget style role. It obviously hurt this week, not having Quandre Diggs there. And the locker room is clearly not happy about it either. You saw Darius Slay come out and say his piece, how he doesn't care whether or not he stays here. And then he came out and clarified saying he loves the city of Detroit just as much as anybody else. And he wants to play here, but he just hates the business side of things. Yeah. And I was kind of unhappy with the questions to Stafford on if he would leave.
Yeah, like,
well, it was actually to his wife, but like, and I will say this: I loved her response that he loves the city of Detroit just as much as the rest of us, and he wants to win a championship here just as much as the rest of us. And for him to get him to leave, you're going to have to trade his ass. Yeah. Like I loved her response. I think it was the best response you could have made. I didn't like the questions though, but because that dude's never shown anything but heart here and deserves nothing but respect. At least from a fan standpoint, I get if you don't think he's the greatest quarterback. I get if you don't think he can win, but you can't argue the man's heart.
Yeah.
But obviously the Diggs thing did kind of split into the locker room a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. People not happy. You had Darius Slay not happy. You had a few guys not happy.
That's
right.
A locker room.
I was
presence.
Especially a guy that you just gave a contract to in the offseason. I was really surprised to see that. They gave the guy $7.5 million a year, and they turn around and trade him for reasons unknown. Like we don't have reasons. Yeah. They just traded him, and it was really surprising to me. I don't know how it's going to affect the defense. Obviously, this week it didn't work out for us considering. We had a lot of injuries back in that safety area. Yeah, and we could have used him. Well, what will it be in a couple of weeks? I don't know. So it's yet to be seen. But what are your thoughts on the Quandre Diggs trade?
I mean, I was very confused when it happened. For one, I didn't think we got enough for him. Quandre in a 7th.
I don't either.
Quandre in a 7th to get a 5th. You gave up a draft pick too. Like, I thought Quandre Diggs was worth more than a 5th round pick, but
absolutely. I thought. I mean, I know he hasn't had a very good season, but I would expect to at least be able to get maybe a 3rd rounder out of him. I mean, a 5th rounder is essentially thrown all the way.
And if you're only getting a 5th round, if that's the best offer you're getting, then no, just I'll keep Quandre Diggs at that point.
Yeah.
But I think the thing I'm most confused about is what is the front office's position on this season? Are we trying to win, or are we building for the future?
I mean, obviously, we'll find that out tomorrow.
Because Chris Mortensen, ESPN's Chris Mortensen reported earlier today, Monday, which when we record, that Philly made a bid for Darius Slay, and Lions are making Slay available on the market. Again, doesn't mean they move him, but it means they're open to it.
I mean, the reports that I've seen regarding Slay is they're willing to field phone calls. However, the price tag is very, very, very high. So I really don't think a trade happens. Oh, it better be. However, I do think this isn't Slay's best season. I don't think last year was his best season, even though he was quite good. I think his best season was the year prior to that.
But I don't want to see us give him up for pennies on dollar like we did.
No, but you got to understand he's pushing 30. He's going to be expensive.
I'm saying I'm not against trading him, but not for pennies on a dollar. Like
Right.
to Diggs.
Again, I like Slay a lot. He's one of the better corners in the NFL. No question about it. But he obviously is not entirely happy here. I mean, he expressed that, and he is pushing the wrong side of 30. He is going to be expensive. So I would, if they weren't going to re-sign him in the offseason, and that was kind of a given, I'd rather them trade him now and get something as opposed to letting him walk for nothing.
Yeah.
And not saying I want them to trade him. I like Slay. I want him to stay here. I wish they would re-sign him. But that's just me, and that's one of the reasons I'm not a GM. I have a little bit more loyalty to some guys than the NFL does. But regardless, it's a lot like the situation in a lot of the great organizations of nobody is untouchable. Same situation with Darius Slay, and I bet you the same situation would be true with Matthew Stafford as well. Nobody's untouchable. Yeah. You're willing to field a phone call on just about anybody. You just have a higher price tag on some guys you don't want to give up.
Agreed.
I can guarantee you the price tag is very high in Darius Slay, especially after seeing what Jalen Ramsey got. What they got for Jalen Ramsey. I wouldn't expect to get 2 first-round picks or 3. Didn't they get 3? Did they get 2 or 3?
That's great. I think was it 2 in a swap.
I think it might have been 2 in a swap, like a 3rd-round pick swap.
But
I would expect to at bare minimum get a first and maybe a 3rd or a 1st and a 4th, like bare minimum.
At least get a first-round pick.
You have the first-round pick is the starting talking point, to be honest, and then you have to sweeten the pot a little bit beyond that to pry Darius Slay from my hands at the very least.
Agreed.
Now, obviously, after tomorrow, this can entirely be a moot point. He could either be traded or not.
Yeah, again, we're calling this a little bit of a time capsule because we're saying what we expect from this trade if it were to go down. Let's say this trade goes down and we're recording on Monday. You already know what we expected and what we got, so you're probably going to be able to tell what our thoughts are.
And if it doesn't, then our feelings about it, how we'd rather him stay here. We'd rather him be re-signed anyways. So it could be totally moot.
Yeah.
But the other big news coming out is Lions and the Bills also, but the Lions potentially connected to bringing in a guy like Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
Well, to start, he has not looked good this year. But for me, it's entirely dependent on price because no matter what, he's going to be better than what we have.
Than Trey Carson. Again, did not even know who the man was until this weekend. And by that I meant I looked at the box score and went, who the hell is Trey Carson and how is he leading our team in carries?
So I would like to bring on Melvin Gordon. I am not paying a king's ransom for him, though. I mean, I'm even hesitant to give a first-round pick for him.
I don't think you have to give a first-round pick for him, to be completely honest with you, just because of the contract situation as well as the disgruntledness. I really don't think you're going to have to pay a first-round pick, maybe a second-rounder, maybe a third, maybe a second and a fourth, or a third and a fourth. Something along those lines is what I would expect to have to give up for him. And if they want more, I'll pass. I'll look elsewhere because there are other guys in the market potentially that you can look at that aren't that big of a drop off. And I actually have a name for you.
If we could have gotten Kenyon Drake for a conditional 2020 pick, I think why not? We should just pull through.
I mean, hell, I'd give you Kenyon Drake for a non-conditional 7th round pick. How's that? I'll give you our 7th rounder, or 6th rounder, whatever you want.
Well, we trade away our 7th rounder to get rid of Diggs.
True. All right, fine. 6th. I think it's still worth it. Guy's got talent. But the name I actually have that, if the Melvin Gordon tires don't want to roll and you're not willing to give up what they're asking, there's another team that I think isn't going to be in rebuilding mode, considering their quarterback at the moment is hurt. And granted, he will be coming back this year, but the team is a total dumpster fire. I mean, they get blown out just about every game, or if they don't get blown out, they're having to throw the ball 55 times to get within 2 touchdowns. And that's the Atlanta Falcons. I've heard reports that Devontae Freeman could be on the block, and reasons being could be rebuild time. And I really don't think Devontae Freeman would be very expensive either. I'm talking like a 3rd and a 5th or a 3rd and a 6th that you could get and maybe even have a pick come swinging back your way. I don't think Devontae Freeman would be expensive at all, and I think that would be a massive upgrade over what you have. And to be honest with you, going into the next season with the running back stable of Kerryon Johnson and Devontae Freeman, that's something to be excited about. Because we saw how
no
good.
No matter what, we need a compliment to carry on.
Absolutely.
He hasn't been able to stay healthy thus far.
Not just that, but honestly, the best running back, stables in the league are 2-back systems. Look at the Eagles right now. Miles Sanders was awesome this weekend. Jordan Howard's been fantastic. Their running back stable is excellent right now. Look at the 49ers having Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida. Hell yeah. Granted, both those guys are often injured, but still.
They've managed to, Breida's managed to stay healthy this year.
Yeah, kind of. He's been banged up a little bit, but not had it to miss any.
Missed a game?
I think he might have missed one or a half.
Tevin Coleman missed a few.
He missed a few, but he certainly wasn't slowed down by it. Holy hell, has he been good. But
I regret dropping him.
Yeah, I still have him. I held on. Going into next season.
I did start Dave Montgomery this week.
Nice, there you go. Going into next season, though, with Devontae Freeman and Kerryon Johnson, that would look pretty damn good because we saw how good the two can be together with Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman. So you add Kerryon to that, who honestly I think has really good potential to be better than Tevin Coleman. You put that running back tandem out there, there's no way your backfield isn't good.
Yeah.
So you tell me that I can give up a third round pick and grab a Devontae Freeman type player. I would like the Lions to invest in the draft this offseason anyways at running back. So let's, there's a guy you can get right now and not have to worry about it. He's a proven deal. I'd love it. I might even like that more than Melvin Gordon because he'd be cheaper.
Yeah. True. But yeah, we're not going to go anywhere if we don't fix this ground game at some point.
No, it's been a big struggle for much of the season. You've had one good game, and it was against a team that sucks on the ground.
Yeah. You're not winning a playoff game without a ground game. Sorry.
No, and that's pretty obvious because, you play football in January. At that point, that's where you need to have a ground game.
Exactly. Well, for now, I almost
I will say this. I want the Lions to continue having Matthew Stafford throw 35 times a game.
I don't want to say ban the part completely, but stop trying to establish it. Let's not kid ourselves here.
I don't want to see them throwing the ball 40 times a game unless they need to, but I do want to see them continue having throw 35 times a game.
But it's turning into every run play is a waste of a down, is what it's turning into right now.
Right now, it's kind of seeming that way. Yeah. They ran the ball 25 times for an average of 2.5 yards, less than 2.5 yards carry. That's pretty miserable.
Exactly.
They had 59 total yards in the ground this weekend on 25 carries. That's terrible. Just terrible, as Chucky would say.
Yeah.
You got to be better than that.
But looking forward, we got the Raiders coming. Actually, no, we're going to Oakland. They're coming off this is their first home game since week 2. The Raiders.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Whoa. God, do they hand a rose out to the players for homecoming?
Right?
Jesus. All right, get your moms on the field.
But, so again, I stated on the last podcast, I'm looking for Lions to go 5-1 in this next 6. They knocked one out. The Raiders are not the easiest game, but nowhere near the toughest game on our schedule either. But it's not going to be an easy win. This is not.
No, the Raiders have been playing damn good
not
football.
Not as bad Raiders team as they seem they were going to be coming in this season.
They're a team that has shown that if you establish the run, you can win some damn ball games.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've gotten some nice surprises out of guys like Darren Waller.
But I do think that the same strategy we use on defense to the Giants, I think will be effective against the Raiders as well.
I'll agree with you.
Because I think that is a team that is...
they don't have weapons outside of the running back.
They lean on the run. They got Tyrell out wide. They got Darren Waller.
I'm not exactly worried about Tyrell Williams. I think any of our corners can keep up with him and cover him effectively.
He's had a nice season so far.
Wonderful. I think any of our corners can keep up with him and can compete and slow him down, especially if Slay's there. Yeah. But Darren Waller concerns me a little bit because tight ends are tough to cover. Yep. Some of our linebackers aren't the greatest at man coverage against tight ends, but we've been able to be effective at times. If I recall, how did Evan Ingram do this weekend?
He was
4 for 40 with a touchdown. He wasn't great, but he wasn't horrible either. Yeah. So hopefully we can slow him down. But again, I agree with you. You got to employ the same defensive strategy or a similar one. Blitz the quarterback. Run some run blitz packages to stop the run. Don't let Josh Jacobs beat you. Hold him down. Because Derek Carr, I don't think is good enough to beat you.
I don't think so either. I think he's another guy that if you can get some pressure on him, I think
exactly.
So the spread right now, I should have some fun here. Can you guess what the spread is for this game?
I'm going to go Lions -3.5.
It's Oakland -2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oakland
That's
-2.
a big swing from what I thought.
Yeah.
Damn.
Over-under is set at 51.
I guess it is a road game out west. Okay, I get that.
Over-under is set at 51.
I can see that. I can really see 51 being a thing.
But just working with the spread, what's your pick here for this coming weekend?
Call me Homer. I'm going Lions to win this game outright.
I agree.
I think the Lions are going to hit a stride here. I think they hit a stride of games.
I think this is the exact type of team that they do well against.
I agree. I think the Lions hit a stride of games here where the passing game is allowed to run freely because there's no carry on. And I think, excuse me, and I think that's where Matthew Stafford's at his best, is when you allow him to play his ball game, which for much of this year has been the case. I mean, he leads the league in yards per attempt. So, and that's what if that's what we're seeing out of Matthew Stafford, you're probably having the best Matthew Stafford you can get.
Yeah.
So I'm liking what we're doing. I'm liking this Darrell Bevell offense in that regard.
Yeah.
Not necessarily loving the way the running game's been, but if the passing game's making up for it, then so be it.
Yeah.
Because Matthew Stafford's having a fantastic year. So
again, we knocked 1 win out, so I'm still looking for 4-1 in the next 5. You can either got to sweep the Bears, and I'll give you the Cowboys loss.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and I may have said this last week. I think the Bears are a terrible football team.
I'm still afraid of that defense, but they are a terrible.
Their offense is
team.
Garbage, just straight hot, stinky garbage.
Can we sweep the Bears?
Yes, I'm calling a Bears sweep right now. The Bears suck.
I hope so.
That is a bad football team. Like, I know their defense is good.
So
I don't think they're the best defense in the NFL
So you think
anymore.
outside the Cowboys, this is our hardest game in the next 5?
Yes. I think the Raiders are a better football team than the Bears. They can actually score the football. The Bears are a bad team. Stinky garbage.
I don't disagree. They're a good defensive team. But your defense can only carry you so. Like, your offense has to be somewhat competent because your defense can only carry you so far.
Like their defense is very good.
Yeah.
Their offense is every bit as bad. Like, their offense is terrible.
I don't think I've ever seen this much of a
range
between offense and defense.
Seriously,
at one team. Like,
hell, I'd rather have Rodney Peete as my quarterback.
I think it all starts with the quarterback. I saw who posted this on Twitter. I can't remember who posted, but someone posted that if Mitch Trubisky was a second-round pick, he wouldn't be starting right now. But the only reason the Bears are holding on to that...
Well, in all honesty, their backup situation doesn't really help them either.
Yeah.
Because Chase Daniel isn't exactly a lighting the world on fire like Gardner Minshew over here.
I think what they're getting is, if he was a second-round pick, they wouldn't have left it to that kind of thing.
Right.
They would have.
They would have gone and got somebody, which I think they will be doing in the offseason. No, I'll be honest with you. If I were to rank the teams in this division, right now it's Packers at number 1, who, I'll be honest with you, I think are tied for the second best team in the NFL. That is a damn good football team. I was wrong about them early in the season. They are a damn good football team.
Jason, one of the fantasy footballers. That's just read it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And then I would probably go the Vikings. The Vikings have really hit a stride.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I'd go Lions, and the Bears are in the toilet. In this division. And the Lions, I think, can be a respectable team in this division as well.
Yeah.
So I think we sweep the Bears. I'll be honest with you.
But yeah, for this coming weekend, although we're not favored, I think this is a very winnable game. I think the only 2 worst teams that we've played this season are the Cardinals and
the Chargers.
The Chargers.
Chargers look like a dumpster fire also.
So I do think Philly's still better than the Raiders. And then,
I do too. Philly had a really impressive game this weekend, beating a really good Bills team and beating them handily.
So yeah, the Raiders are favored right now, but look for that spread to move. But this is a very winnable game.
I think
for the
the
Lions.
spread comes down to Raiders -1 by come game time.
I think the spread comes down to a pick 'em.
I mean, -1 is essentially a pick 'em.
Yeah,
but I think because of home field, the spread will stay at Raiders as favored.
But yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll take the Lions in this one too. But moving on to hoops real quick. The Pistons are 1-2. They had an impressive showing in their first game out against the Pacers. The last game against the Sixers was heartbreaking. Though they were up by they had a double-digit.
That was without
lead.
Embiid too.
Yeah, they had a double-digit lead, and they just could not stop turning the ball over. Geez.
I'll be honest with you. I think the Pistons have some potential. I think they're a better team even without Blake Griffin than they were last year without Blake Griffin. They have an ability to actually score the basketball. Derrick Rose has been fantastic. I've also I really like the backcourt tandem of Derrick Rose and Luke Kennard.
Oh yeah, it's been looking real nice.
It's very nice. I think Reggie Jackson has
noticed with
been
Reggie
less
out.
than impressive.
Derrick Rose has not gotten the start now because they want to keep the
Right.
tandem together. It's been Tim Frazier.
He's been. I think Reggie Jackson had been less than impressive to start, and honestly, I really like Derrick Rose a lot better. I do think that tandem works really well together, though, and I don't want to split it up. I was hoping to see a little bit more from Tony Snell to start the year. And Drummond had arguably his best game of his career to start the season.
Jesus.
And man, is he falling off.
30-20 game. I wouldn't say man is he falling off. He's been putting up regular Drummond numbers since then. He had a really good second game, too. He went 20-10 the second game.
His first half was good. The second half, if I recall, he really fell off the table. Like, the effort was not there.
But yeah, I would expect him to do better against an Embiid-less Sixers than he ended up doing.
And he wasn't very good. He was very impressive game one. I've been less than impressed with him games 2 and 3. I think he needs to be better. And I expect better out of him because I think he's a good player, and I expect to have good results out of him. And I haven't gotten that consistently yet this year. I know it's only been 3 games, but I wanted him to be the guy to step up in a big way while Blake's been gone. So I need to see it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Derrick Rose is
game 2, he had 21-12 with 4 steals in the block. I mean,
wonderful. What did he shoot?
I have to find that out. I don't know the shooting percentage up.
If I remember seeing like he didn't have that great of a game in game 2. I remember him making a lot of mistakes. If I recall, I may be thinking of game 3, but I'm pretty sure it was game 2.
No, game 2. I'm telling you now, the Sixers game he did not have a good game.
Game 3 was terrible. Al Horford made him look bad, and that's I know Al Horford's a good player and he's a very veteran player, but come on, man, you got to be better.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I think this is a better team than what it was last year when Blake Griffin wasn't there, and I expect to see more out of it. I expect to see us if we can hang around 500 without Blake Griffin. I think we'll be a team that can potentially finish the season above 500 by the end of the year, not by much, but by a few games here and there.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a big part of this, and I think the most encouraging sign to start the season has been the bench support that we've got in the playoff or bench. That's going to do wonders for us if that continues.
Absolutely. It's having a bench that has a pulse is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, really nice.
I wonder why Christian Wood's not getting as much playing time as I thought he was going to get. Outside, he played a little bit in the first game. Christian Wood. He hasn't got as much playing time as I thought he was going to get. To be honest,
I think it might just be a situation where they're trying to adjust him into the lineup. Try and figure out where his fit is. Because obviously they're still running with Thon Maker as the backup 5, which I would honestly believe that Christian Wood would take that spot. Because Thon Maker's not been good. I'll be honest with you, I think he's a waste of minutes right now. And I would love to see Christian Wood step into that role because Thon Maker's just he ain't cutting it. He came in with all his potential, and I like the trade at first. And I like the fact that we're giving him an opportunity to try to progress, but man, has he not been good. And I don't know how long they're willing to let this go on before they say, all right, time's up, and Christian Wood, it's your time.
Yeah.
Because Christian Wood is somebody that I have big expectations for.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyways, obviously we got another week of basketball coming up. Still no Blake. He's going to be out through the first week of November, maybe even a little bit longer, supposedly. So we'll see what happens there.
As of right now, Pistons are up on the Pacers. That game's going on currently at LCA as we record. So
again, this is a depot list Pacers team, so it's not really the full slot of the roster because I expect the Pacers to be
a division game and a win you should be getting.
Yes.
Starting the season off with 2 wins against the Pacers is
a big one, obviously. But by the end of the year, the Pacers will be a better basketball team than the Pistons will.
But we already got 2 of our 4 games out of the way in the beginning, so that's
right. But I not a lot to take from the first 3 games, but there is a little bit.
Because again, it's still very early.
It's too early to say much.
Yeah.
So are there things to be encouraged by? Absolutely. And are there things to be discouraged by? Yes.
Yeah.
No question. So and we'll see how the rest of that kind of pans out. If things change, if things get better, if things get worse, we'll see. Yeah. Before we end, though, did you see the Anthony Fennick tweets today?
No.
Oh man.
Who's Anthony Fennick?
He's a writer for the Tigers, if I recall.
Oh, okay.
Let me try to pull him up here because I don't want to misquote him. Yeah, he's a free writer. He covers the Tigers.
Okay.
but he said, last week, Illich Holdings brought in a PR research firm to meet with their company's communications departments and share ideas on how to get Detroiters and the media off their backs. And then he said, I have an idea. Keep your promises instead of swindling taxpayer. Gotta go. The security guards are back. I mean,
Man.
and 97 One Ticket talked about this on my way home today, so this is kind of where I first heard about it. But
That's a nice tweet.
it is a good tweet because I've been one of the biggest detractors of this whole District Detroit thing, and I loved it. I love the idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. I would love to see it happen, but we've not seen it happen. And there is not so much as a lick of what they promised the city and the taxpayers compared to what, there's not so much of a lick of what we thought was going to happen. We've got an arena. That's it. An arena and some condos. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't have parks. We don't have storefronts. We don't have restaurants. We don't have bars. We don't have, anything. It's not a place you can go hang out. You've got dilapidated buildings all over the place still. You've got empty holes in the ground. You don't even have a crane out there. There's nothing happening. And it's been a huge disappointment. And I love the fact that now another publication is calling out Illich Holdings for, not coming through. And I will say the idea that the Illich Holdings Foundation brought in a PR research firm to try to get Detroiters and the media off their backs about it, that's comical.
Yeah.
Because literally the way to get them off your back is to do something. Do what you said you were going to do. So I wanted to mention that because I did find the tweets very entertaining. And I like the fact that we're trying to, we're calling people out that we want to take action in this city because they're the people that need to be taking action. And we have this brand spanking new shiny arena that depending on who you ask, may or may not impress, and nothing else to show for it. So I want to be better, and I want the city to be better, and District Detroit's a good way to make that happen.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I thought those tweets were funny.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Anthony
District
Fennick, for
Detroit's
that
like one of the most biggest letdowns right now.
Oh my God. When I saw all these beautiful artist renderings of all this stuff, and they showed the arena with those cool LED lights on the top, which would have been awesome, and we never got. And all these parks and all these pictures of people, down there in the graphic renderings and the bars, the restaurants, the stores, it looked like an awesome place to go hang out. And obviously I knew it was going to be a pipe dream. It was never going to look exactly like that, but I wanted at least something of it. And if they really want an idea of how to make it happen, go look at what Sacramento did with the Golden One Arena. There's the model. Yeah. There's the model right there because it's the exact same style, exact same district thing where it's walkable. There's restaurants, stores, restaurants of all kinds, not just fancy restaurants or upscale. It's, there's a lot of fast casual places in there as well.
Yeah.
You want the model, go look at Sacramento. They did it and they did it well. And I want us to do the same.
Yeah.
I would really like to see it happen, and I've been begging for District Detroit to become a reality, and it just hasn't. So, and for now, yet another publication because Cranes Detroit did it. I believe the Freak did it in the past. I even
Cranes
think
skewered it.
Yeah, I believe That News did it. I think even HBO did a special on it at one point. I think so. I'm glad more and more media members are willing to call out Illich Holdings Foundation for not following through.
Agreed.
So, anyways. Thank you guys for listening. Go Lions this weekend. Go Pistons this week. We'll catch you guys next week.
It's must-win territory every week now for the Lions.
I would tend to agree, considering what the division's turning out to be. Yeah. Yes, definitely. So, anyways, Andrew, thank you for joining me. We hope you guys have a happy Halloween. If you guys celebrate, if not, that's cool.
Yeah.
But enjoy yourselves. Be safe. But definitely, first and foremost, have fun.
Yes.
So, and we'll catch you guys next week. This has been the Fan Reporters. Bye, fans.
For fans.
Thank you guys again, and thank you to Detroit Sports Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Real Fan Report, and check out our live show, www.twitch.tv/TheFanReport.
8 p.m. Eastern.
Mondays and Thursdays. Not Thursday this week because of Halloween, but following Monday, then the following Thursday.
Yeah, we got to go trick-or-treating.
Speaking of, did you see what the law in Virginia? There's a law in Virginia out there, in certain districts in Virginia, that if you're over 14, you can get a $250 fine for trick-or-treating.
Oh.
I know.
Come on.
Come on, man.
I trick-or-treat over 14.
So did I. And the way you said it, the way you said it best, I don't remember if it was you or what, but if you see a high school kid trick-or-treating, honestly, be proud of that because they could be out there doing a lot worse things. So why are you going to fine them? First off, how's a 14-year-old kid going to pay a $250 fine?
Yeah. Can't even have a job yet.
Anyway, there's my old young man rant. There's my millennial rant right there. Anyways, guys, thank you again. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one.
Peace.